During the Nebraska postgame press conference, Coach Prime told us some amazing stories. Now listen, one story was about something that happened during the game that literally caused him to laugh his butt off, and the other story was him admitting something that was truly shocking regarding roughly 20% of his players and coaching staff. Let's talk about both these stories right now. When asked during the Nebraska post-game press conference, Coach Prime said that the theme against TCU was for Colorado to believe. But the theme for this Nebraska game, the theme this week was different. He said that Nebraska was a huge rival. And remember, Coach Prime has played in some of the most epic rivalries in sports, like the Miami Hurricanes versus the Florida State Seminoles and the Dallas Cowboys versus the San Francisco 49ers. So the theme for this week, the theme for the Nebraska game was, it's personal. To take the rivalry personally and to become emotionally invested and to harness those emotions to unleash a whipping on your opponent. During his post-game press conference, Deion Sanders, the Hall of Famer, the MVP, told a hilarious story that caused him to erupt in laughter on the sidelines after a play. We'll set the scene like this. It was an amazing two-point conversion where Shedeur got pushed back to around the 25-yard line. He dodged multiple tackles. He tiptoed on the sideline, and he threw a 20-yard pass on a rope. Now, Hankerson dives down, makes the amazing catch. The play was just epic. A real Heisman moment if we haven't had enough already. It was so crazy and shocked so many people, the officials had to review it. And in Coach Prime's own words, the theme of the week was, it's personal. One of the funniest moments during the game, as Shedeur took his helmet off after he made the tremendous scramble, it was like a Heisman-type play. And I went over to say, you cannot do that. You cannot take your helmet off. And he said, Dad, it's personal. And I just laughed. And I just bent over and laughed my butt off because I was in the moment and I was really upset. He broke the monotony with it's personal. So not only Shedeur, but so they really took it to heart. They took the whole theme of the week to heart. Now, after hearing this, as a father, I can only help but smile. I know how kids are. Kids will say the darndest things back to you, and they are ready, and they always have an answer when you question them about something. If you're a parent out there, you know it's true. For those of you that have kids, you know that we've all had this experience where we're trying to correct a behavior, and we're taking something so seriously. But just when you're teaching them a lesson, they say something that cracks you up and you lose it. Just this week, my daughter was holding a lollipop, watching TV. Her little brother knocks over a cup. Water is gushing out of this cup, and she's calling for me and her mom. Mom, Dad, come get this. Come get this. And I said, Elena, why didn't you just pick it up yourself? And she said, I can't stand up when I'm holding the lollipop. That's your rule, Dad, isn't it? She's 5 years old. And I was frustrated, but I went into pure hysterical laughter. Same thing happened with Coach Prime. And as a parent, you guys know that. It's frustrating when it happens because you want to get on to them. But it's these moments that make life so special. And I love that Coach Prime shared this moment with us. I love that he's so genuine. I love that you don't just get the football. You don't just get the hype. You don't just get upset in TCU. You don't just get the rivalry win, the blowout against Nebraska. You get the genuine, human, raw love and emotion that Coach Prime gives you. I love that about him. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'll put the actual clip in and you can see it in his own words. The next story he told was straight up shocking. Again, in his own words, he said, I think for you all to see what we're capable of doing, I keep saying more and more young men as well as coaches are believing. I think we're probably up to 80% now of young men in that locker room, as well as staff and support staff who are truly believing what we're capable of doing. He said, it's not believing in me, it's believing in what we're capable of doing. That was the question I posed to the gentleman last week. It wasn't about me. It was about the young men and what we possess. And again, stick around to the end of the video and I'll show you that clip for yourself. But think about this for just a second. Coach Prime is saying that 80% of his team finally believes. But in saying that, he's being brutally honest. He is straight up admitting that 20% of his players and coaches may still have doubts and may still not be full believers. Even after 2 weeks of straight epic performances, even after they've already proven so many of the national sports media wrong, even after they drove over the Frogs, even after they whipped the Corn Dogs, Coach Prime is not giving up on that 20%. He just knows it's their nature. They are naturally skeptical people, and that's fine. He knows they just listened a little too much to all the others, a little too much to the national media, but he's not giving up on them because as every week passes, as they get to see what's happening with their own eyes, he knows they'll eventually start to believe. And when this team gets all their players in alignment and 100% believing, when 100% of the staff, support staff, and players believe, college football better watch out because the sky is the limit for this Buffaloes team. We just want to take a quick second and thank you for watching. If you enjoy the content, if you enjoyed this, please take a quick moment to subscribe. And as we promised you, here are both of those clips in Coach Prime's own words. Thank you guys, as always, for watching the prime time for college football. Enjoy.
I keep saying more and more young men as well as coaches are believing. I think we're up to probably 80% now of young men in that locker room as well as staff and support staff truly believing what we're capable of doing. It's not believing in me, it's believing in what we're capable of doing. That was the question I posed to the gentleman last week. It wasn't about me, it was about the young men and what we possess. Let's go. Because the whole theme of the week was it's personal. One of the funniest moments in the darn game after Shador took his helmet off after he made the tremendous scramble. It was like a Heisman type play. And I went over and said, you cannot do that. You cannot take your helmet off. He said, Dad, it's personal. And I just laughed. I just bent over and laughed my butt off because it was in a moment and I was really upset. And he broke the monotony up with it's personal. So they really took it to heart, that whole theme of the week.
Hey, listen, we appreciate you guys so much for all of the love and support that you've given us. Our last couple of videos have done super well, probably exceeded all expectations, kind of like our buffs. So if you have not gotten caught up, maybe you're new to the channel, go back and watch some of our old content. We have a reaction to the win yesterday. I think you guys are going to love. It got pretty emotional, got pretty passionate about it. You can check that out by watching right here. If you missed the viral moment that everyone's talking about between Deion Sanders and Trey Sanders, you can click right here to watch that one.